Hello, everyone. Welcome to Tuesday Night Live with independent demonstrator Teresa Harper. I'm located in Sheridan, Oregon, in the United States. I'm so happy that you've joined me. Happy New Year. This will be the first live card tutorial of the year. So thank you so much for joining me. Let's go ahead and see who's on. And then we'll jump in and get started. So let's see, well, let's go the shortcut and see if I can get it to come up this way. All right, there we go. And let's see who's on. All right. Thank you so much for joining me. We're just going to wait a minute or so and see who else comes on. Be sure to comment and let me know when you arrive. And if this is your first time watching, please let me know. Hello, Mary. Happy New Year. We're going to be going through some sneak peeks that are going live on Thursday this week, or 11 p.m. Pacific Standard Time tomorrow night. Okay, let's see. We're just going to wait just a couple more seconds, and then we'll go ahead and get started with our first card, which is right here. Let's pull out my bin. I've done a lot of the pre-work, I think. We will do a few things here. So we're going to be using the hot air bundle, which includes the hot air balloon photopolymer stamp set. There's 12 photopolymer stamps in here, and then there's 16 dies. And I'm hoping to show you how versatile this set really is. Okay, and how easily it combines with other sets that we either currently have or is upcoming. So here we go. Hello, Cynthia. Thanks for joining. Happy New Year. Okay, if you hear some noise in the background, I've got my 5-year-old grandson here, Nathan. Go ahead and say hello, Nathan. Hello. And he's hanging out with Grandma tonight. He's going to stay over. So he's in here playing with his Legos. All right. Let's get the first card going. And you are going to be a little surprised at what I put together for this, I think. Because I didn't want to just put up balloons. So we're going to start today with a card base in Balmy Blue. And this is an A2 card base. And it's 5.5 by 8.5. And we've scored it up 4 1/4. I'm going to go ahead and burnish that. And then we're going to set that aside. From the upcoming perennial postage dies, now these can be purchased in a bundle. And let me grab that stamp set. This is the perennial postage stamp set. It is a rubber cling mount set. You get 10 sentiments. And then there are 12 dies. Now these can be purchased separately, or they can be purchased together. And when you purchase them together, you save 10%. Now, of course, you can definitely purchase them one without the other because they're totally standalone sets. But just keep in mind, I can always use a sentiment set. So I've taken the second largest of the postage dies and a piece of early espresso cardstock, and I've cut that out. So we're going to be using that. I think that's, oh, and then I also cut for the inside a piece of basic white in that same size. Okay, so one in early espresso and one in basic white. So we've pre-done that. And let's go ahead and get started with our stamping. So with the hot air balloon dies, I'm going to bring in textured floral. This is the set that's in the annual catalog. It's a distinctive stamp set, which means that when you stamp it, you get different hues of the same color all in one stamping. Now, it also has a coordinating set of dies. We are not using these tonight, but of course, when you purchase these together, you save 10% over this single piece price. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside. I'm going to bring in a piece of basic white. Now, this is cut at 3 by 4 1/4. Let me double check. Yep, 3 by 4 1/4. And we're going to take some stamps from the textured florals bundle here. I'm going to start with the large floral image. I'm going to bring in a piece of scrap paper because I'm going to be stamping off with this. And we're going to start with some, I actually have quite the color palette for this card. So we have basic gray, early espresso, balmy blue, lemon lolly, soft seafoam. We're not done yet. Pecan pie, azure afternoon, calypso coral, and daffodil delight. Okay, so I'm going to put these pieces out of my way here. We're going to start with calypso coral. And hey, buddy, can you go wet this for Grandma and squeeze it out really good? Okay. Thank you. Helps to have an assistant when you forget to wet your cloth. Okay, so we're going to ink that up. Let's get these out of the way. We don't need all this stuff sitting right in front of us. And then we're going to stamp that off. And I'm going to stamp this right about here. Okay. And then I'm going to take the second largest flower in that set. And in full strength ink, thank you, buddy. In full strength ink, I'm going to stamp that in the center. And then we're going to stop there for a moment. Okay, because we're going to put the clips of coral away. And I'm going to have to get the soft seafoam here. And this has a very large leaf, and we're going to grab that large leaf with soft seafoam. And I'm doing this now so that I can line it up before I put on my other images. It works much better that way. I'm going to put that down. I'm going to set that aside because I'm going to need that soft seafoam again. And then we're going to take the medium-sized flower. And I don't know where I'm grabbing that. I need to clean that off because we used the calypso coral. And now we're going to move to lemon lolly. And we're going to take that medium flower that we just stamped in the calypso coral. It's the same one. And we're going to stamp this in lemon lolly. There. And there. Okay. I'm going to clean that off again. And then we're going to take the smallest flower here. And I'm going to get Daffodil Delight. And in full strength. I'm just going to put that down in the center. I'm not even trying to line it up. I'm just putting it in there. Okay, now let's go back to that. Let's clean these because I don't want to put my arm in them. Okay, we're going to go back to the soft sea foam now. And we're going to bring in another set of leaves. And we're going to add some more greenery in here. Okay. And let's do one over here. Okay, so there is that. And finally, we're going to follow this up with some early espresso, which is right here. Okay. And we're going to take the center flowers, take the smallest one, and I'm just going to set it in the middle of the yellow flowers. And then we're going to take this large spray and put it in the center of that flower. Okay, so this is our background piece. All right, now we can move on to our balloon. Set this aside and we'll grab a scrap piece.
I can litter you. Okay.
Right, I'll put it over here for you, buddy.
Good.
Okay, he's wanting to help. Okay, so I'm going to take my hot air balloon and we're going to use some, hey, you can't touch stuff, buddy.
Good.
Yeah, you can't touch stuff. Sit down and play with your Legos, please. Okay, so we're going to get some balmy blue and we're going to I need a mat. I'm going to stamp the hot air balloon in balmy blue. And then we're going to take pecan pie. And we're going to get the balloon basket. And in pecan pie, we're just going to stamp that. Okay. And then finally, I forgot to stamp my sentiment, which is wish big. I'm going to put that down here. Oh, not in balmy blue. Oops. How's your afternoon? Okay. And we're going to stamp that right there. Okay, now we're going to cut these out with our coordinating dies. Okay, let's get our hot air balloon dies. And we've got one for our balloon and one for our basket here. And then the wish big is going to go in here. Okay, then we're going to take those to our die cut machine. Okay, and let's see, where did my, here's all my pieces. Through the magic of television, there we are. Okay, and here's our little basket. All right.
There we go.
So let's move this out of the way. Go play, sweetie, please. All right, let's get our silicone mat. And while I'm thinking about it, I just want to remind you that today and tomorrow are the last days for the last chance products. In case you haven't gotten what you want, get those items before they're gone. Okay, so we're just going to add this basket to our balloon. And we're going to do that with a little bit of liquid glue. I'm just going to put just a dab at the top and set this balloon down right over that and press it down, trying to make sure that my basket is straight so it doesn't look like it's blowing in the wind. Okay, so we've got that. And then we're going to take our Wish Big and we're going to put that right across that band of white. It's a perfect fit for this. Just put that on. And there we go. Okay, now we're going to flip this over. And I'm going to grab some Stampin' Dimensionals. And I'm going to put one down here and two up here. And there really isn't enough room to grab those little pieces of the basket. So I'm going to put a mini dimensional on the basket itself. And then we're going to bring this piece back in. And we're going to add this to our early espresso postage piece. And 3 by 4 1/4 is just about a perfect fit here. Okay, now we can add this to the base of our card. Oops, I bumped the table again. Bumped the stand. And, oh, before I do that, I need to add some background to my card base. We don't want to forget that. I felt like it was a little bit, it needed a little bit extra. So in the hot air balloon, there is this speckled, oh, maybe not. Nope, that's in the textured floral. Okay, so there's this speckle here. We're going to use that. And we're going to put that in balmy blue and I'm going to stamp off. It's all going to be second generation. Rotating my stamp so it's not all the same. And I want it to look random. So I'm doing some straight, some at an angle. Okay. I think I need a little bit more down there. All right. Now we're ready. Okay. So now we'll add our floral background piece. To our card base. And then we're going to add our balloon on here. Okay. And then we're going to bring in a couple of new items also from the hot air balloon suite. I'm going to take some Calypso Coral Baker's Twine, and this is from the Baker's Twine 3-color pack. Again, this will be available on Thursday. And you know me, I'm going to get out my I did bigger. I think I did bigger. And I like to do a double bow on the twine to give it a little bit more substance. Okay, then I'm going to get our ribbon scissors, cut that off. Right. Get that out of the way. Take a glue dot. Press my bow into my glue dot. I like to take my tweezers and squish that glue dot around the knot and pull it off. Get my things where I can get at them just a little bit easier. Sorry about the reach. Get that out of the way. Okay, so then we're going to take this and we're going to put it right down here. And I'm actually going to tuck those bow loops on that side right underneath there. Like that. And finally, for the outside of this card, we're going to take these adhesive backed rainbow dots, also part of that hot air balloon suite. And I'm going to take some Calypso Coral, take a large one, put it along here, take a smaller one, put it up here, and then I'm going to take one of the Azure Afternoon small ones and put it right down here. Okay, now these dots come in Flirty Flamingo, Pool Party, Petal Pink, Lemon Lolly, Azure Afternoon, Bubble Bath, Balmy Blue, and Fresh Freesia. You get 20 each of the 8 different colors in 2 different sizes. Okay, so there is the outside of our card. For the inside of our card, I took that same hot air balloon stamp, and this time I stamped off, and then inside the stamp set, you also have some accent pieces. So I took this one right here and I stamped it in 2nd generation Lemon Lolly. Added that basket, took one of the sentiments in Azure Afternoon, and that is going inside our card to finish it off. So I hope you liked that. And then we also have our envelope, and I've done the full strength. So what I did was I stamped each of these in full strength, and then I did the 2nd generation on the inside so that I did these at the same time in order to get these images. And this one I left the sentiment off of. Okay, so there is our coordinating card and envelope. I hope you like that and can see how versatile that hot air balloon stamp can be, and that it's not just for hot air balloons, that you can add some florals in there. And my thing with this, using it this way, was I was kind of thinking that those florals, the way they are, looked a little bit like fireworks. that could be going off in the sky behind the balloon. Okay, so let's move on to our next project, which is a fun fold card. Put a few of these things out of my way. Okay, I've done some stamping ahead of time so that you didn't have to watch that again. So let's go ahead and set this aside. We'll bring it back later. All right, and let's get project number 2. Okay, trying to clean up a few things so I can find stuff later. I tend to scrap and make a big crafter mess. Okay, so before we get started, I wanted to show you again, this was another card that I made. I believe I showed this to you last week when we were doing the unboxing video. So this uses 2 heart dies. You cut one of these, and I cut one in blueberry bushel on the plain heart, and then balmy blue on the detailed heart. And then here I used berry burst and bubble bath. So I wanted to show that you could turn this into a Valentine's Day card if you so choose, anniversary card, whatever, using that set too. And then these are dies from the Wild Ferns bundle, which we'll also be releasing on Thursday. So there's that fun fold card. Okay, let's get on with the project. This one takes a little bit, and I wanted to show you how to cut things. So in addition to the hot air bundle, we're going to be using the Garden Meadow bundle. This is a current online exclusive bundle, and what we're using from this set is the fence here. I'm using this little basket of flowers, and then this fence die here. Okay, and you won't find these in a brochure or catalog. They are only online. That doesn't mean you can't order it. It just means that you just need the number 162736 for the stamp set and 162740 for the dies. Or if you order as a bundle, that bundle number is 162741, and that will save you 10% off the price for 2 of them. Okay? All right, so that, let's go ahead and grab our supplies and get going. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to start with our card base. And this is a piece of fresh freesia cardstock. It's 5.5 by 8.5. I've scored it at 1.5 and 4.25. Let me double check that. Yep, 1.5, 1.5, 4.25. And then I folded it the regular card way and then folded back so that you have this orientation. I've made this card before. This is one of my favorite ways to use 6 by 6 scenery papers. And we're going to be using the Garden Meadows Designer Series paper for this card. So I actually have 2 pieces. I've got one 6 by 6 piece in this pattern, and then I took another pattern, and let's see, and I cut off 2.5 inches off of it. So this is the other pattern that I'm using. So I'm using 2.5 inches of this. And in order to get this the way I want it, I'm going to show you how I came up with this, because this needs to be 2.5 by 5.25. And of course our paper's 6 by 6, and the same with this. So I need this to be 5 1/4. And ordinarily, excuse me, just 1 minute. I've got a dry spot. Hi, Laura. What background? Oh, the background paper, the floral one. I use textured florals to get that. Okay, so I need this to be 5 1/4, and ordinarily we would cut 3/4 inch off the top and 3/4 or 3/4 inch off the bottom. But I didn't want to lose too much of the sky, and I didn't want to lose too much of my trail. So what I did was I took this over and I cut it at 3/8 of an inch, and I'm measuring from the left side or the right side here. So 3/8 of an inch. And then I'm going to flip it 180 degrees and put that at 5 1/4, which also takes off 3/8 of an inch. And then I've got 2 3/8 inch by 6 inch pieces that I can use for another project later. Okay, now I'm going to cut this. I'm going to start on the left hand side, and I'm going to cut at 2 3/4. And then I'm going to cut at 1 3/4. That's what it says. And that should leave, nope, that's not going to be right because I need to leave 2 inches. 1 1/4. I wrote it down wrong. So you're going to cut at 1 1/4. 1 1/4, which will leave me with 2 inches. Okay, so you can do it either way you want to do it. If you don't want to have to remember that, just remember that this one's 2 3/4. The right side needs to be 2 inches, so you can turn it upside down. Cut this at 2 inches, and then your pieces will be the perfect size. Okay, now you want to keep those in the order in which you cut them so that your seam remains intact. And then we're going to add these to our design, to our card front. So I'm going to start with the 2 3/4 inch piece, and I'm going to center that on this section. I'm going to put it on this flap. Now, keeping in mind that when I put the adhesive on here, I do not want adhesive on this side, because if I do, then I'm going to glue my card shut. Okay, so only on this half. So when I flip this over, I'm going to put my adhesive on the right side. And I'm not going to go past half. Okay, so I like to run 2 strips of adhesive. That's usually plenty. And then I'm going to center this up in that section like that. I'm a little off from top to bottom, so let's fix that. That looks pretty good. Let's put that down. Then I'm going to open this up. I'm going to take my 1 1/4 inch piece. I'm going to put some adhesive on that. I'm going to lay this flat, and I'm going to center this between the fold and that other piece of designer series paper, making sure that my top and my bottom line up. See how I'm keeping my scenery intact? And then I'm going to take my 2 inch piece, okay, and I'm going to add this in here, like so. Okay, and now I've got my whole scene when I open my card up. Okay, now this 2 1/2 inch piece that I cut earlier from the other sheet is what's going to go here. And I picked this one specifically because these two skies looked similar. So I'm going to add this to the front side of my card. Now you could use a piece of cardstock and add embossing or stamp some background on here, whatever you like. This is how I chose to do mine. And before I give that a press, I want to make sure these all line up nicely. And there's my basic card base. Okay, so for the inside, for my message, I've taken a piece of basic white. This is 2 inches by 5 1/4. And I stamped that basket of flowers and colored it with pecan pie, lemon lolly, and fresh freesia. I used dark granny apple green and light lemon lime twist on the leaves. And I'm just going to put this in here. Now the key to this in here is that before you give this a good press, you want to make sure that when you close your card, it's not going to show. And if you line it up, you should be good. Got just a titch over on this side here. Let's see if I can move that just a pinch. This way. Okay, we'll close that back up. Move that over a titch. And there we go. That's not very straight. Whoa. I'm not doing very, I should just put it down and call it good. I think I would do better. And definitely. Okay, so there we go. Inside done. Now we just need to decorate the outside. Okay. So I've got some pre-cut pieces here. And I pre-stamped my balloon. And this is in Orchid Oasis and pecan pie for my basket. You already saw me do that, so I'm not going to do that again. I am, however, going to show you how I did my fence. So let's grab the fence. Let's turn it right side up, or what I think is right side up. I'm going to stamp this in Early Espresso on basic white. Okay. And we're going to take our scrap paper, and I'm going to color this with pecan pie. First, I'm going to grab the light and dark pecan pie. And I'm not going to color the whole thing because I already have it colored, but I did want to show you what I did. So I'm going to take the light pecan pie, and I'm going to color these fence things here. And I colored in sections so that my ink didn't dry too much. I'm coloring those crossbars. And then I'm going to take my dark and I'm going to go above and below with just a little bit of a swoop there, a little bit here, a little bit here. I want some dark here, some dark here, and here. And then I'm going to go back with my light, and I'm just going to swoosh that up a bit, just to blend those a little bit. Okay. And then here I'm going to go across and across. Get those. Okay, we're just going to do one side of the fence here. And then I looked at where the crossbars go, and I put just a little bit of dark there. Just a little swipe of the pen. Okay. And then I'm going to go back with my light. Okay. And finally, I'm going to finish these posts and the edge of the fence here. Tiny bit of dark, top and bottom. On the outside here, I'm just going to go just a stripe along there and go back over that and blend it in. Okay. And always remember that if you get out of your lines just a little, the color lifter, run it outside of the color and push that color back into the area that you want it to go. And then we've got light smoky slate, and I'm just going to put these on the pieces that would be metal. Okay, and then I cut that out with the coordinating die from the Garden Meadows, which is this one right here. And it does matter how you put this on. It's not symmetrical. So when you put it on, you want to make sure that it lines up. Okay, there's a little bit more of a swoop at the top than there is at the bottom. So make sure when you're doing that you get that just right. Otherwise, it doesn't cut real well. Okay, so for my fence now, I'm going to take this, and this is great, and I could put it down here on my card just like this, but I didn't like that. I didn't love it. So I'm going to take, and I'm going to cut my fence apart and take out that white. It's going to round the corner down here and round the corner there. And we're going to do the same thing here. Okay, now I've got two fence pieces. Okay, now we're not stopping here. We're going to take our stylus tool. You can use the one from your Take Your Pick or from your Simply Scored. And I'm going to use a ruler and I'm going to put it right in between in this white spot. And I am going to score this. Okay, whoops. Okay, I think I've got a good enough score. And then I'm just going to bend that just a little bit. Just like that. And then I'm going to do the same thing to this side. Put this in here. I'm using the tiniest end of my stylus tool. Okay. And I'll give that a little bend. Now we're going to add this with a bit of liquid glue. I'm going to start with this one, the right-hand side gate. And I'm just going to put a little bit of liquid glue right there on that spot that's colored on the fence post. I need to make sure that I put this on the designer series paper and not on the fresh freesia, because if I do, I will glue my card closed, and I don't want to do that. So I'm going to put this right at the bottom and right along there. And then before that dries, I'm going to make sure that I can get this one over here where I want it. Yes, I can. So I'm going to give that a good press. And then I'm going to repeat that with the left gate. Okay. And for this one, I'm just going to place this right up next to each other. And This one you can get it on the fresh freesia because this is still your flap. So you're not going to be closing anything together. Okay, so we'll put that down and give that a good press. That way I know that my liquid glue has adhered well. And now I've got gates that will actually open. Okay, this gives it a little bit of added dimension. For my balloon, I have taken this die, which fits right across here, and I've taken this die, which matches up with this. Okay, so I've cut the solid piece in fresh freesia, and I've cut the fancy piece. I added the adhesive sheet to the back, and then I cut this with the it's called Soft Shimmer 12 by 12. This is in the annual catalog. Okay, it's beautiful paper. Comes in Berry Burst, Bubble Bath, Lost Lagoon, Night of Navy, and Pretty Peacock. So I cut that, and then I'm going to use my Take Your Pick tool because I've got the adhesive sheet on the back. I didn't want to have to try and glue this. Now I will tell you, because this is thicker paper, I did have to run it through like 3 to 4 times with the adhesive sheet on the back. So now I can just peel that off, throw that backing paper away, and this is now a sticker that I can line up with my solid piece. When I get it lined up, I'm going to give that a good press so that that adheres well, because if you don't do that, it won't adhere. It's repositionable until you get that done. Okay? It is not wanting to lay right where I want it, but it'll work. Excuse me, I really got a dry spot. Okay, so then we're going to add this to our balloon, and it goes this direction, and that's going to fit in that white space perfectly. We're just going to take some regular adhesive here and add this on. Give that just a little bit of shimmer, and I really did love that color combination. Okay, so we've got that. Again, we're going to add this. So let's see where I tossed my silicone sheet. I'm going to add this in with just a little bit of glue, just a dot. And then we're going to add this on. Like so. Okay. And again, I'm going to add this with adhesive, or with Stampin' Dimensionals. So I'm going to put one down here. I'm going to put 2 up here. And then I'm going to grab my minis and put a mini on the basket. All right. I'm going to bring back in our card base here. Take these backing papers off. And then we're going to add this. To our sky here. I'm going to go a little to the right so that I'm not so much in the trees. Yes, we're flying in front of the tree because obviously we're not going to hit it. I'm going to put this right in here. Okay. And then from the perennial postage dies, I cut this piece. This is the dies that I showed you earlier on the last card.
Mama,
These ones. Okay, so I've got that one. And we're going to stamp on this. You're going to have to wait, buddy, because you can't do it while I'm doing this. Okay, so then we're going to take the sentiment that says, just a note to lift you up. This comes from the hot air balloon stamp set. What did I do with my little black pad here? Well, I guess we're going to do it without because I don't know where I set that now. It's amazing how I can do that. Okay. I had it, I used it, and I misplaced it already. So I'm going to take the just a note, but this is not going to fit, as you can tell. So I'm going to do one of my favorite techniques with these long sentiments, and I'm going to ink up just a note. Okay, and I'm doing that in Orchid Oasis on Fresh Freesia. I think I missed a little bit of the just. And then I'm going to just place this up here. Center that up. I'm going to clean that off. And then I'm going to ink up to lift you up. Okay. And we're going to put this just underneath, centered up as best we can. All right, that looks pretty good. Now, if you are worried about it, you can always put a piece of washi tape. Okay, so let's go ahead and add this to our card. And we're going to add this like this. So we need to make sure that we only put adhesive on the right side, because if we put it on the left, then we're going to glue our card closed, and that's not what we want to do. So we're going to put some adhesive there, and then I'm going to put this up a little bit. I'm going to try to go just above the tree, put that down, and then make sure that I don't have any adhesive sticking out the back, and I don't. So I'll get that. And then to finish this card off, also from the online exclusives, thanks Jennifer, appreciate that. Okay, we're going to take the dragonflies and birds. These are from the online exclusives. They are on back order at the moment, but they are coming back. So you'll still be able to pick them up. And then I'm going to take some birds. And I'm going to put them up here. Okay, so I'm going to take one flying that way. And take another one. I'm going to put another one over here. And then a third one who doesn't want to be put down, apparently. And I'm actually going to put him right here, like that. I need to move this one up a bit, which I can still do. Let's pick that up. And I'm actually going to put him on clear up here. There we go. And there is our finished card. I hope you like that one. That uses quite a few of the some current products that we have along with some new. I'd like to show you guys how you can, don't be just stuck within one stamp set. Okay, so we've got that for the front, and then when you open it up, you have that. All right, well, I hope you liked that. And what did I do with my envelope? Here's my envelope. So for this envelope, I took that same basket of flowers from the inside and brought it to the envelope like that. Okay, so let's bring back in the first card. And these are our projects for tonight. I hope you liked those. And then for your third idea, what did I do with that card? Oh, I put it. Man, it's amazing how fast I can put things down and not be able to find them. So there's a third idea for you. Put these down here so you can see this in here and hope it all goes in frame. All right. Thanks so much, you guys. I'm glad you loved those. I hope that you will try this scenery card because they're pretty cool. All right. Oh, thanks, buddy. You like them too? All right. Okay, we'll tell everybody good night.
Good night.
All right, we'll see you back here next Tuesday, same time. Good night. You gotta get your head in there a little bit. There you go. Maybe like, there you go. See? Now it's in.